कंठे च तावली गोपास्त्री परिवेष्टितो विजयते गोपाल चूड़ामणि वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंस चानूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. Reading from Srimad Bhagwat Mahapuran, we have just entered the third canto after having completed the Mahatamya. Mahatamya had 6 chapters and Canto 1 had 19 chapters, whereas Canto 2 had 10 chapters. And then we went into third canto. As we discussed, Bhagavad Mahapuran is the highest Vedic literature, and we are so blessed to be relishing the nectar of this most important Granth. And so far, the episodes that we covered included the dissatisfaction of Vyasji, how Naradji spoke to him, and he advised him that the reason you are dissatisfied is since you have not written a Granth which is completely soaked in bhakti. You have been mixing dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So that trace of dharma, artha, kama, moksha hasn't made you to relish the complete bliss. So please write a Granth where there is no trace of any material contamination. It should only be bhakti, bhakti, and bhakti. And that is how Sri Veda Vyas wrote Bhagwat Mahapuran. Before Veda Vyas has written Bhagwat Mahapuran, the knowledge of Bhagwat Mahapuran has been passing on through Shruti Parampara. The Guru speaks the knowledge to the student, and the student receives, memorizes it, and then passes it on to the next student, and that's how the tradition continues. But when we come to Kali Yuga, the memory reduces so much that it is no longer possible for people to retain that kind of memory. So there is a need to write it. So the writing was completed. Bhagavad Mahapuran was written by Shri Vyasadev, and then in the first canto, we read about the questions of Shaunakadik rishis. There is some very pertinent questions that why in Kali Yuga, where we are so disturbed and the lifespan is so less, we are so lazy, we are so disturbed, agitated all the time. So what is the mitigation? How do we conduct ourselves in Kali Yuga? How to get rid of these miseries, the 3 types of miseries? So all these chapters we read in the first canto, prayers by Mother Kunti, the birth of Parikshit Maharaj, how Parikshit Maharaj received Kali. And then we went into second canto where we read about the worship of the subtle form and the gross form of the Lord. And because some are comfortable in worshipping the subtle form, they have not yet graduated to a level where they can consider God in the personal form. So different types of worship are recommended. Also in the second canto, there was the reference about how to worship devatas to realize the material benefits. So and at the end of that, the conclusion was all these material benefits are very much temporary and they don't satisfy the soul completely. So the ideal way is to be devoted to the lotus feet of the Lord. That is the Bhakti Marg. And in the second canto also we learnt about the creation, the cosmos, how Sarg and Visarg creation takes place, how the Lord agitates the Prakriti, which gives rise to Mahatattva, and then Mahatattva into Ahankar, and from Ahankar to Panch Tanmatra and Panch Mahabhut, and all the creation comes alive. So that is what we learned in the second canto. Also, we learned about the 10 topics of Bhagavad and Chatushloki Bhagavad. So, because we have gone into the details a number of times, today we will get into the third canto straight away. And in the third canto, there are 31 topics, out of which 6 we covered. Meeting of Uddhavji and Vidurji, description of childhood pastimes of Lord Krishna by Uddhavji, then how Vidurji approached sage Maitreya, and how he raised so many questions, which Maitreya ji will answer, and that will become the chapters for the third canto. And then also about the universal form, the cosmic form. So before we begin the session, let us start our proceedings with a bhajan. Actually, yes, you can call it a bhajan or very beautiful, sentimental. It's not a kawali. Teri meharbani ka hai boj itna. So I'll just start it and just check if Dholak is coming through, and then Anjan ji will take over. तेरी मेहरबानी का, तेरी मेहरबानी का है पूज इतना, तेरी मेहरबानी का है पूज इतना, कि मैं तो उठाने के काबिल नहीं हूँ, तेरी मेहरबानी का है बोझ इतना, कि मैं तो उठाने के काबिल नहीं, मैं आ तो गया। थोड़ा स्क्रॉल कर दीजिए। एंड प्लीज एनलार्ज। मैं आ तो गया हूँ मगर जानता हूँ, मैं आ तो गया मगर जानता हूँ, तेरे दर पे आने के काबिल नहीं हूँ, तेरी मेहरबानी का। राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे. So Dholak is not coming through, is it? Anjan ji?
Dholak is not coming.
It's not that clear. It's coming very feeble. The sound is very
coming very feeble. I'm
Yeah.
really wondering because in my other session, Dholak is not an issue. Okay.
Yeah, I can't hear the Dholak also.
Oh. We'll have to fix this. So anyway, I'll just sing one more line and then Anjan ji will take over. Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe 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 Govind Govind Radhe राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद।
जमाने की चाहत में
एक
खुद।
लाइन मेरे को गा लेने दीजिए, इसके बाद वाले।
ओके ओके।
जमाने की चाहत में खुद को भुलाया, जमाने की चाहत में खुद को भुलाया, तेरा नाम हर गेज जुबां पर न लाया, जमाने की चाहत में खुद को बुलाया, तेरा नाम हरगिज़ जुबां पर न लाया, खतावार हूँ मैं, खतावार हूँ मैं, गुनाहगार हूँ मैं, तुम्हें मुँह दिखाने के काबिल नहीं, तेरी मेहरबानी का है बोझ इतना कि मैं तो उठाने के काबिल नहीं। अंजन जी।
तुम्ही ने अदा की मुझे जिंदगानी, मगर तेरी महिमा मैंने न जानी। तुम्ही ने अदा की मुझे जिंदगानी, मगर तेरी महिमा मैंने न जानी। कर्जदार तेरी दया का हूँ इतना कि कर्जा चुकाने के काबिल नहीं हूँ। तेरी मेहरबानी का है बोझ इतना कि मैं तो उठाने के काबिल नहीं हूँ। ईमाना की दाता है तो कुल जहां का, मगर झोलिया गे हिलाऊ मैं कैसे। ईमाना की दाता है तो कुल जहां का, मगर झोलिया गे हिलाऊ मैं कैसे। जो पहले दिया है वो भी कुछ कम नहीं है, उसी को निभाने के काबिल नहीं हूँ। मेरी तेरी मेहरबानी का तमन्ना यही है कि तमन्ना यही है कि सर को झुका दूं, दीदार तेरा जी भर के पालूं। तमन्ना यही है कि सर को झुका दूं, दीदार तेरा जी भर के पालूं। सिवा दिल के टुकड़ों के ए मेरे दाता, सिवा दिल के टुकड़ों के ए मेरे दाता, कुछ भी चढ़ाने के काबिल नहीं हूँ, सिवा दिल के टुकड़ों के ये मेरे दाता, कुछ भी चढ़ाने के काबिल नहीं हूँ, तेरे मेहरबानी का हे बोझ इतना कि मैं तो उठाने के काबिल नहीं हूँ, तेरे मेहरबानी का। राधे राधे।
बोलिए श्रीमद सदगुरु सरकार की जय, श्रीमद युगल सरकार की जय। जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे। Our koti koti pranam to the lotus feet of Sri Hari and Sri Guru. Our koti koti pranam to Swami Mukundananji. My humble pranam to each one of you. And now we shall read from the third canto, which has 31 chapters and which talks about the creation. The first 2-3 cantos of Srimad Bhagwat Mahapuran are about Sarg and Visarg. Sarg means the primary creation and Visarg means the secondary creation. So I was mentioning that before creation, there is nothing. But when the Brahmand is created, it starts from the Lord's eyes, energizing the Prakriti through the glances, and the Prakriti transforming into Mahatattva, and Mahatattva, it transforms into Ahankar, and Prakriti has 3 modes, Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic. So with the combination of Ahankar and Tamasic, Rajasic and Sattvic gunas, all the creation comes apart, comes alive. For example, the Panch Tanmatra. So what are Panch Tanmatra? Panch Tanmatra means the 5 gross elements have each one perception, one characteristic rather. For example, earth. The quality of earth is taste. Sorry, the quality of earth is smell. Then water. The quality of water is taste. Then fire. Quality of fire is form. And then air. Quality of air is touch. And then space. The quality of space is sound. So the first space is created from the sound. In the sound, other 4 characteristics are not there. Do you perceive the smell and the form and the taste and the touch in the space? No. The only medium which is applicable is sound. But then from the space, with the sense perception touch, air is created. So now you can feel the touch. We know that in the winter, oh, such a chilly wind is blowing. So we feel the touch of the air. So the perception touch gets added to the air. From the air comes the fire. Now in the fire, the sound is there, the touch is there, but a new perception gets added, that is form. So you see the form. There is no form in the space and there is no form in the air. And from the fire, the element water will come out. The water will be created. So in water, the characteristics of the taste gets added. So in the water, we have taste, we have form, we have touch, and we have a space. In all the lower elements, the upper elements are all contained. Also, we should know about the taste. It is the water which brings the taste, becomes very clear when you put a solid mass on your tongue. You take a piece of food and put it on your tongue. Now, if the piece of food is completely dry, you will not get the taste. For you to get the taste, you will have to salivate it. So the water element has to be there to get the taste. That is why in Bhagavad Gita also Sri Krishna says, Rasoham apsu konteya prabhasmi shashi suryayaho pranava sarva vedeshu shabdam khe parusham nishu. So Rasoham apsu konteya, I am the taste in water. And from water comes the element earth. Now earth has got the fragrance. On a parched land, when the raindrop falls, we get the smell of the earth. So the smell is associated with earth. So in the earth, all the 5 perceptions are there. The smell, taste, touch, form, and space. So all this creation, how it took place, is described in this chapter, in this canto. You can go back to the slides. And that is what we will learn in the 3rd canto, the first few topics about the Sarg and Visarg. So Sarg is this primary creation, all these elements have been created, and now comes Brahmaji. So how Brahmaji originates? He originates from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So there are 3 Vishnus we talked about, the 3 Purusha avatar, Mahavishnu, Pratham Vishnu, Dvitiya Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Tritiya Vishnu, Kshirodakshai Vishnu. So from the navel of Brahmaji, the Garbhodakshai Vishnu appears. From the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, Brahmaji appears in the lotus, and that Brahmaji is empowered to do the creation. So from Brahmaji's Manas mental meditation, the different sons are born. Now this birth is asexual. There is no mother. It is all happening by Brahmaji's meditation, Brahmaji's tapasya. So that is what Bhagavad will describe, that from his shadow, Kardam Rishi will appear, from his brows, from the middle portion of his eyebrows, Rudra will appear. Similarly, from his ears, Angira Rishi will appear. From different personalities are born from different limbs of Brahmaji. These are Manas Putra. So the first 4 Manas Putras are Sanat, Sanatan, Sanak, Sanandan. These are called Sanakadik Rishis. They are also called Kumaradi. 4 brothers. They are the first in the creation by Brahmaji as Manas Putra. So all this we have already covered. And then we came to the point where the creation becomes the Mathuni Srishti. This happens when the Prajapatis are not able to create, propagate. The Manas Putras are not in the process of creating and propagating the population. So Brahmaji gets disturbed. He sits in meditation, and then his body splits in 2 parts. And from one part, Manuji comes, and from the other part, Shatrupaji comes. So they are our divine. They are our ancestral mother and father. And from there, the Mathuni Srishti begins. So the 5 children of Manuji and Shatrupaji are born. They are Uttanpad and Priyavrat, 2 sons, and Akuti, Prasuti, and Devhuti, 3 daughters. Akuti will be married to Yagya Prajapati and Ruchi Prajapati, and Sati and Prasuti will be married to Daksh Prajapati, and Devhuti will be married to Kardam Rishi. So how all these marriages will take place and who are the children, that will be discussed further. So this is how the creation will propagate, and then different lineages we will discuss in Bhagavad. So here in the chapter 7 to 16, we just learnt about the origin of Lord Brahma. And after Lord Brahma appears, he first meditates on the Supreme Lord, because he cannot understand the purpose of his creation. So he enters the stem of the lotus and he travels down to the navel, but then still he cannot figure out what is happening. He comes out and then he hears the sound tapa, 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 which is the sound coming from the unmanifest energy of ocean. And then he sits in meditation, and then the Lord appears before him, the Lord Narayan, and the Lord Narayan will speak Chatushloki Bhagwat to Brahmaji and teach him and give him the knowledge for the creation. So that is the story of Brahmaji, and Brahmaji's prayers are very much well known. You would have heard there are beautiful songs which are called Brahma Samhita. So the prayers of Brahmaji, and then we come to the topic division of time, Manvantar, etc. So how this time factor is described, the spectrum is very, very large, unbelievably large. Like the small time segment is very small and the large time measurement is very large. So we all know minutes and second, but in the Vedic calculations, the measurements are so much smaller. For example, 1.6 second is called 1 chan. It is also called 1 pal. And if you go down, there are other units called nimesh, kastha, laghu, love, and truti. And even lower than truti, trashrenu. So what is trashrenu? So we have anu, parmanu, and anu. Now in the windows in the earlier days, we can see a patch of light, coming from the slot of the window, and we can see some dust particles. So those dust particles are very, very small. So if you collect those 3 dust particles, that is called 1 trashrenu. And for the sun to pass that much distance is called I think it is nimesh or I forgot, love or something. We will see the chart. So you can imagine that is the smallness of the unit. Because in the Vedic literature, all these units are used. For example, when we read about the movement of the sun, you will read that in 1 chan, the sun is moving at the speed of 6. The chan is covering the distance of 16,106 miles. So imagine an object covering 16,016 miles in 1.6 seconds. That is the speed of the sun with which it is rotating around the Sumeru Parvat in Jambudvip. And because the sun is rotating, the lights from the sun will fall on different planetary systems, of which our planet Earth is one of them. Our Earth planet is in the Bhumandal. In the Bhumandal, there is Jambudvip, and within Jambudvip, there is Bharatvarsh. And within Bharatvarsh, we have this small Earth in which we live. So the rotation of the sun, the light will fall as the sun moves from different point to different point. First, the light, let's say it falls in Japan, and then it falls in Korea, and then Singapore, and then India, and Middle East, and then Europe and America. So because of the movement of the sun, whereas in the school, we always learned that the earth is rotating about the sun. But Bhagavad says earth is stationary and the sun is moving at such a higher speed, and the moon is also moving, which is at a higher elevation, at a even higher speed. And then there are other constellations, nakshatras and rashis. They are fixed in reality, but they are mounted on the Kal Chakra, and the Kal Chakra is moving, so they are also appearing to move. And then we have the upper planets, which are called Bhuvalok, Swalok, Mahalok, Janalok, Tapalok, Brahmalok. These are the upper planets which keep moving, which keep growing in the elevation. Then we have the Saptarishis, then we have the pole star, and then you will reach the end of the Brahmand, which is 50 crore yojan or 4 billion miles in diameter. So the end of the Brahmand is called Paravyom. And then we have the Birja river, which separates the Paravyom, the material world, with the spiritual sky. The material world is 1/3 and 1/4, and the 3/4 is the spiritual sky. Now, in the material world, just now we are describing the Brahmand, which is created by the Chaturmukhi Brahma, our Brahmaji, but there are infinite number of universes like this. In fact, our universe is so much small. We are saying that our universe, Brahmand, is 4 billion miles in diameter, and we are also saying that this is one of the smallest universes, so you can imagine the infinite size. And all this is part of the material, which is considered 1/4, and 3/4 is the spiritual sky, in which we have different abodes. The abode of Shri Krishna is called Golok. The abode of Lord Ram is called Saket. The abode of Durga Mata is called Devi Lok. The abode of Lord Shiv is called Kailash. Like this, there are different abodes. The abode of Lord Vishnu is called Vaikunt. So in those abodes, the liberated souls are residing, and they are serving the Lord of their worship. So this is a little glimpse about the cosmos, the Paravyom, and the spiritual sky. So if you can go back to the previous slide. Yeah, so no, you go to the next one first. Yeah, so in the 10th, in the 9th chapter, prayers of the Supreme Lord by Brahmaji, and then description of division of time we discuss, expansion of creation we discuss, and then the story of avatar of Lord Vara. So here in the picture, it is actually Vaman avatar. Vara avatar is different. Vara avatar is Lord Boar. So what happened was, after the Mathuni Shrishti has begun, Manu and Shatrupa, they are there, and Brahmaji is talking to them, and Manuji is very affectionately and respectfully addressing the father, and the father is telling them, you have to, produce children and propagate. But Manuji is saying, where will they live? The Bhulok is drowned in the Rasatal. So during the Pralaya, the Bhulok is in the Rasatal, so it has to be taken out. So Brahmaji got very worried about it. He is telling, right, because there is no place to live, so where all this population will reside. So when he was thinking like this, a small creature came from his nostril. Very tiny creature came from his nostril in the shape of a boar, and in no time it grew huge, so huge that we cannot imagine. So this is the Lord Vara. Boliye Shri Vara Avatar ki Jai. So this Lord Avatar of Vara, he appeared, and he is the one who will kill Hiranyaksh, who is the brother of Hiranyakashipu, and he will lift the Bhumandal from the Rasatal and put it back in the Brahmand at the right location. So that is the reason for Vara Avatar. And alongside there is the story of Mother Diti. So Mother Diti is the wife of Kashyap Rishi. And who is Kashyap Rishi? He is the son of Marichi, who is the Manusputra of Brahma. So Diti has so many sisters, including Sati, who is married to Shivji. And everyone has children, but Diti is feeling very desolate and desirous of having a child. Now, one day her desire has become so intense that he just wants to have a union with her husband Kashyapji, but the time is not auspicious. Kashyapji is meditating, and when he is approached, His response is, Diti, please wait for 2 muhurt. So muhurt is, 1 ghadi is 30 minutes. Muhurt is 6 muhurt constitutes 1 yam, which is 3 hours. So about half an hour. Half an hour is 1 muhurt, and 1 ghari is 15 minutes, if I remember. But Diti was very restless, and she did not listen, and Kashyap Rishi had to yield to her request, and then she realizes that this was an offense because I did not listen to my husband's caution, and now she is repenting, but she is also wanting to know if there is a way to repent and mitigate the problems that might arise. So Kashyap Rishi tells her that definitely because of this indiscretion, the very inauspicious demoniac personalities will be born in your womb, and these 2 personalities are the dissensions of Jay and Vijay, about which we spoke in the last session. Then Jay and Vijay were the gatekeepers in the planet of Vaikunt, and they were cursed by Sankadik rishis that they will fall down in the earthly planet. So now they are taking birth in the womb of Mother Diti, and when Hiranyaksha was born, and Hiranyakashipu was born, and when Hiranyakashipu has been killed by Narsingh Bhagwan, Hiranyaksha is very unhappy, very angry, and he wants to take revenge. So he does meditation and he receives a lot of power, and he is the one who will fight with Lord Vara, and Lord Vara will finally kill him. So that is the story about impregnation of Mother Diti and curse by Sankadik rishis to Jay Vijay, and Jay Vijay's dissension from Vaikunt. Let us see the next slide. So here birth of Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, and conquest of Hiranyaksha. This is just the listing of the topics which we will take up in the next session, but just quickly going through. Battle of Lord Vara with Hiranyaksha, killing of Hiranyaksha, multiple creation of Lord Brahma, austerities by sage Kardam and Lord's blessings on him, marriage of Kardam Prajapati and Devhuti, pastimes of Kardam and Devhuti, birth of Sri Kapil Dev, questions by Devhuti, description of origin of Mahatattva. And the next slide. Okay. So here there is a little description which I selected for today's session. So what is a Manvantar? We understood. Brahma ji, once he is created, he lives for 100 years. The first 50 years is called Parardh, Purvardh and Uttarardh. So there are 2 Parardhs, 50 years and 50 years. So how big is 1 year of Brahmaji? So in 1 year of Brahmaji, there are 360 days. And how long is 1 day? In 1 day of Brahmaji, there are 14 Manvantar. So this is the meaning of Manvantar. 14 Manvantar is equal to 1 day of Brahmaji. It is called Kalp. 1 day of Brahmaji is called Kalp. The name of the Kalp in which we are living today is called Shvet Varah Kalp. Shvet means white, Vara means boar. So in the Shvet Varah Kalp, we are living, and we are living in Jambudvip, in Bharatvarsh, in Bharatkhand. This is what Panditji speaks when he comes home for the Satyanarayan Bhagwan ki Katha or other functions. So 1 day of Brahmaji is comprising 14 Manvantar, and in 1 Manvantar there are 71 and 6 by 14 Chaturyugis. And how much is 1 Chaturyugi? 1 Chaturyugi means Satyug, Treta, Dwapar and Kali Yuga. And how much is Kali Yuga? 432,000 years. Twice that is Dwapar, thrice that is Treta, and 4 times that is Satyug. That means 1 Chaturyugi is equal to 43,20,000 years. So this is only one Chaturyugi. How much? 43,20,000 years. And there will be 71 such Chaturyugis in one Manvantar. And there will be 14 Manvantar in one day. So the total number of days, total number of years in one day of Brahmaji becomes 4.32 billion. 4.32 billion Brahmaji will have the day, and equal amount he will sleep, that is the night. And between night and day, there is a time gap for the Sandhya also. So during the night, Anshik Pralay takes place. This Brahmand which we talked about, many planets will vanish, but it will not completely vanish. The sun and the moon will vanish, but some of the lokas will still remain, like the Mahaloka, the Tapaloka, the Brahma Lok will still remain. During this time, the heat from Anant Shesh will increase, and then the sages led by Bhriguji will move to Janaloka from Maharloka. That is what Bhagavad describes. So the time span is so huge that one day of Brahmaji itself is 4.32 billion years. So we can imagine the 100 years of Brahma, that comes to 3,011 trillion years, if I remember correctly. So it is all mind-boggling. In each Manvantar, point number 2, there is a set of kings, Saptrishis, Devatas, Indra, and their followers, Gandharvas, etc. At the end of Lord Brahma's day, the partial dissolution takes place. The night follows the merging of sun and moon, along with Bhu, Bhuva, and Swalokas into the body of Lord Brahma. During the Ratri Pralay, the heat from the mouth of Anant Shesh causes sages such as Bhrigu, etc. to move from Maharloka to Janaloka. Half of Lord Brahma's life is called Padardh. Currently, the second Padardh has just begun, of which the first day is called Shvetvara Kalp. So let's go a little bit quickly because 42 minutes over. In the beginning of previous Padardh, the Kalp was called Brahmya Kalp, which saw the origin of Brahmaji. Pandits call this as Shabda Brahm. At the end of first Prarabdha, the Kalp is called Padya Kalp, in which Brahmaji appeared from the lotus from the navel of the Lord. So this is in the picture, you see Chaturmukhi Brahmaji seated on the lotus. Let us move to the next. So in this slide, we read about Brahmaji. Brahma was born from the Hiranyagarbha energy of Vishnu, which is responsible for administering the material creation. From Brahma were born the 4 great saints, Sanak, Sanandan, Sanat, Sanatan. Being eternally liberated souls and experts in the science of yoga, they were empowered to help others attain liberation through a spiritual sadhana. After the 4 Kumaras came the 7 sages. They are Marichi, Angira, Atri, Pulastya, Pulha, Kratu, and Vashisht. They were empowered with the task of procreation of the human population. Then we go to the next slide. Then come the 14 Manus, Swayambhu, Swarochish, Uttam, Tamas, Raivat, Chakshus, Vaivaswat, Savarni, Daksh Savarni, Brahma Savarni, Dharma Savarni, Rudraputra, Rochya, and Bhautyaka. They were empowered for the administration of humankind from the celestial abodes and for the establishment and protection of Vedic Dharma. We are presently in the era of the 7th Manu, who is called Vaivaswat Manu. This era is thus called Vaivaswat Manvanta. In the present Kalp day of Brahma, there will be 7 more Manus. Let us see the next. Now, when Brahmaji is creating, he is creating different elements. And this is very interesting that how from different limbs of Brahmaji, different elements will be created. For example, from Brahmaji's skin, Gayatri Mantra. From his bones, Jagati. From Pran, Brihati Chand. From his senses, the letters, Kavarg, etc. From his actions, the 7 Swar, Sare Gama Po. And before that, from Brahmaji's lap, Prajapati Naradji will be born from his thumb, Daksh, from his pran, Vasishthaji, from his skin, Bhriguji, from hands, Kratu, from navel, Pula, from the ears, Pulastya, from the mouth, Angira, from his chest, Dharma, from his back, the death, from his heart, the desires, from his eyebrows, the anger, from the lower lip, the greed, from the mouth, the Vani. So this is where I remembered that from the mouth of Brahmaji, the Vani will appear, like I'm talking to you now. This is called Vakhari Vani. There are 4 types of Vani. The Paravani, Pashyanti Vani, Madhyama Vani, and Vakhari Vani. So Vakhari Vani is manifest, like I'm talking and you are hearing. But Madhyama Vani is the thought process which happens before the Vani. And subtler than that is Pashyanti, and the subtler than that is Para, which is like a spiritual, completely entity. All these things we can all read separately and learn more on our own. Let us move to the next slide. So this is our concluding slide for the day. I have just selected one reference from one of the chapters. And very beautiful summary is provided by Maitreya Rishi when Vidurji is asking these questions. So what Maitreya ji is saying, Ya eva metam harimed sohare katham subhadram kathaniyamaina trinvit bhaktaya shravayeta voshatim janardano syasu hridi prasidati. This is verse number 48. विदुर जी भगवान के लीला में चरित्र अत्यंत कीर्तनीय हैं और उनमें लगी हुई बुद्धि सब प्रकार से पाप तापों को दूर कर देती है। जो पुरुष उनकी इस मंगलमय मंजुल कथा को भक्ति भाव से सुनता या सुनाता है, उसके प्रति भक्त वत्सल भगवान अंतस्थल से बहुत शीघ्र प्रसन्न हो जाते हैं। The Lord becomes very happy with somebody who is sharing this knowledge, this katha, or he is hearing the katha. And the pastimes of the Lord are so nectarian and so beneficial that it removes all the sins and all the miseries of our life. This is what Maitreya Rishi told Vidurji. 49. Tasmin prasanne sakala shisham prabho kim durlabham ta biralam lavatmabhi ananya drishtya bhajatam guhashayah स्वयं विधत्ते स्वगतिम परपराम. भगवान तो सभी कामनाओं को पूर्ण करने में समर्थ हैं, उनके प्रसन्न होने पर संसार में क्या दुर्लभ है। जो लोग उनका अनन्य भाव से भजन करते हैं, उन्हें तो वे अंतर्यामी परमात्मा स्वयं अपना परम पद ही दे देते हैं. In the 49th verse, it is said that the Lord is in a position to fulfill all desires of the devotees. If he is happy with the devotee, what is not possible for the Lord? So imagine somebody is doing Ananya Bhakti of a high degree, then the Lord is so pleased that he gives his own position to that person. He gives everything. So the point is, do we really care about the desires which are temporary, which will give us momentary satisfaction? It will not quench our thirst, which is the thirst of the soul. That is why the bhakti, which should happen continuously, is the most glorious. And the last shlok, Lokon ko naam loke purusarth sarvit pura kathanam Bhagwat Katha sudham apiya karnanjali विवापहा महो विरज्येत विना नरेतरम. अरे संसार में पशुओं को छोड़कर अपने पुरुषार्थ का सार जानने वाला ऐसा कौन पुरुष होगा जो आवागमन से छुड़ा देने वाली भगवान की प्राचीन कथाओं में से किसी भी अमृतमयी कथा का अपने कर्णपुटों से एक बार पान करके फिर उनकी ओर से मन हटा लेगा. So Maitreya Rishi is telling Vidur ji, who will be there in this world other than the animals, who will not try to benefit from this ancient story about God and his devotees to get rid of this punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, birth and death continuously happening, so many miseries going on in every birth. So such a person who is not relishing the nectarian katha, this is very surprising that after hearing the katha in our ears for once, who will not want to relish and go deeper into it? So with that, we come to an end for today's session. Thank you all very much for listening to me. I am also just a student, but by the grace of Swami Mukundanandji, I have been advised by him to share whatever little I know about Bhagwat Katha. So once again, thank you all very much, and over to Vikas ji and Sohini Didi and others for the rest of the proceeding.
Sohini Didi.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you very much, Rajesh Nandanji, Rajesh Bhaiya. It's mind-boggling, all the details that you've given, but very, very beneficial. And I'm sure, if one dwells into it and, reads more up, in detail, everything will become clearer. But, to take it all in just 40 minutes, it's quite a lot. But thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rajesh
So,
for a wonderful session today. So I would like to ask if anyone have any question to ask.
Any questions or any feedback or any comments or just anything that you would like to share?
Hemaji, any question?
You are muted, Hemaji.
I'd just like to enhance is exactly like Sohini Didi said, it's just absolutely mind-boggling, and if one revises and reviews, it becomes clearer. But it's the repetition that helps to retain the knowledge and apply it in day-to-day life. It's mind-boggling.
Thank you, Hemaji. Sheila, any comments from your side?
I can't think of anything today, and I'm sorry I joined a bit late today. So sorry about that. But you're doing a great job, Rajesh Bhaiya. Really, really amazing. And the details you have so many names to just at the tip of your fingers, and you just keep reciting the whole thing as if it's you are God sort of blessed by God to sort of just say it and impart this knowledge to us. Wonderful, wonderful, really good.
You are very generous in your praise. I'm also learning, and it's just a little grace that I'm able to remember a few names. So thank you so much for your kind words. Yes, Vikashji.
Yeah. Rajiv bhai, any comments? Smita ji is there, so let's hear from him.
Okay. बहुत ही सुंदर बातें हुई आज. कुछ ऐसी भी बातें हुई जो कभी पता भी नहीं था. हमारे ऋषि मुनियों ने समय के लिए भी इतने सारे उसको यूनिट्स कहें या इकाई कहें, जैसे क्षण, पल, इन सभी को भी एक मतलब डिवीजन करके रखा है. इतना सारा जो यूरोपियन वर्ल्ड सोच भी नहीं पाया है अभी तक. हम लोग इतने ज्यादा विज्ञान के विषय में बहुत पहले से आगे हैं सबसे. मैं ये कह सकती हूँ आज का ये भैया का जो भाषण या जो स्पीच हुआ है वो सुनकर। और आज ये मेरा पहला दिन है जब मैंने पूरा का पूरा प्रवचन सुना है, क्योंकि आज मैं टाइम निकाल पाई, लेकिन ना जाने इतने दिनों से मैंने अपना समय नहीं दिया तो मैंने कितनी ही बड़ी बातों को मिस किया होगा। और मैं अब बिल्कुल प्रतिबद्ध हूँ कि आगे से जो भी ये कार्यक्रम चलेगा वो मैं बिल्कुल ही नहीं मिस करना चाहूंगी। और जितने भी मेरे सखा लोग हैं, जो भी मेरे नॉलेज मेरे रिलेटिव्स हैं, मैं ये लिंक उनको भी दूंगी ताकि वो भी इस चीज को सुनकर आनंद उठा सके। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद भैया।
राधे
Smita ji,
राधे स्मिता जी।
just for information that it's already recorded previous session, so I can pass you the link so you can watch it.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका, बहुत बहुत
ये 9th सेशन
थैंक यू
है। अब तक
जी
8 सेशंस हुए हैं और सभी के रिकॉर्डिंग वो जो विकास जी लिंक भेजेंगे उसमें सारे रिकॉर्डिंग्स उपलब्ध हैं।
जी
तो बट आपकी जो एंथुजियाज्म है और आपने जिस अंदाज में अपनी बातों का जो हमारे समक्ष रखा वर्णन, वो सराहनीय है और बड़ा ही हमारे लिए उत्साहवर्धी।
जी जी धन्यवाद भैया।
Thank you. Rajiv Bhaiya, you want to say anything?
Just wanted to say thank you so much. I mean, it feels like this hour is so well spent. You know, you've done something good for your soul. So thank you so much.
I think today Vaibhav Bhaiya has joined. So Vaibhav Bhaiya, you want to say anything?
राधे राधे भैया, इट वॉज वेरी यूजफुल सेशन एंड मतलब ये ज्ञान का सागर है भागवतम, और आपने बहुत ही सरलता से इसको प्रेजेंट किया। इसके ज्ञान के कुछ छींटे हम पे बड़े हमारा सौभाग्य है। और जो भजन था वो उसको में भी बहुत रस आया। हम जरूर ज्वाइन करते रहेंगे आगे के सेशन भी। राधे राधे।
वंडरफुल, सो वंडरफुल। वैभव जी, आपने कहाँ से ज्वाइन किया?
मैं रेडिंग यूके से।
अच्छा, बहुत बढ़िया। बहुत बहुत खूबसूरत बातें आपने की, बड़े ही खूबसूरत अंदाज में। कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन, ब्यूटीफुल एंड मोस्ट वेलकम। अंजन जी शायद कुछ शेयर करें। पहले तो आपने इतना बढ़िया आज भजन चुना, मेरा फेवरेट, इसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद अंजन जी। कुछ कहना चाहेंगे? नहीं, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है, वो शायद माइक्रोफोन।
वो ऊपर है, आपका माइक ऊपर लगा हो रखा
अभी
है।
ठीक है, अभी ठीक है।
ओके।
हाँ। नहीं नहीं, आवाज नहीं आ रही है।
अंजन भैया, आपका माइक शायद ऊपर हो रखा है। Is it?
Okay, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes,
Yes.
Okay.
अभी
Yeah,
ठीक है।
राधे राधे भैया। No, it was a very wonderful session. बहुत अच्छा था। और क्या कहूँ, मतलब वंडरफुल। हाँ, भजन आपने शुरू किया, मैंने उसी अंदाज से कैरी नहीं कर पाया, बट
नहीं नहीं, ठीक किया आपने अभी। हाँ, तो बहुत बढ़िया। अभी तक जो भी हुआ है मतलब मिराक्युलस है, एंड इट इज सो अमेजिंग दैट इवन रिकॉर्डिंग्स आर अवेलेबल, and we can revise, and coming to know the stories of Bhagwat, I cannot think of anything more fortuitous and more auspicious and more beneficial. This is something absolutely amazing as far as I know. So you all deserve such a pat on your back for arranging this, and I'm eternally grateful to all of you. Let me hand over to Vikas ji for the conclusion.
I have one comment.
Yes.
This morning, Mukunda Nand Bhaiya's on YouTube has been posted something about Srimad Bhagwatam, the significance of hearing and reading or listening to Srimad Bhagwatam. And it's amazing. It's a very short YouTube, about half an hour or so. It's worth listening to, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Radhe
Thank
Radhe.
you. Thank you all for the joining today's session. So with this, we will conclude this session. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
राधे।
Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Shri Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
राधे राधे।